siil is a cenote that connects to an extensive underwater cave system about 3 hours from Merida, Mexico, on the Yucatan Peninsula. The area directly above the cenote is currently being used as a cattle pasture. The other dive team members, Sherry and Michael, are looking at the site and preparing for the dive. The men in the white shirts are two of our Mayan guides. This cenote has been used as an irrigation source for hundreds of years. A stone wall separates a cattle pen from the location of a well that has been dug through the rock to the underlying cenote. The remains of an old windmill that was destroyed by a hurricane in 2003 can be seen. The guides used the yellow rope and pulley to lower our dive gear down the well into the cenote. There is an entrance to the dry side of the cenote where the ceiling collapsed. The guides placed an aluminum ladder in the entrance for our use. The covered part of the cenote that contains water can be seen to the upper right. The divers are making final preparations to enter the submerged cave within the covered part of the cenote. The entrance is underwater to the right of the diver in the foreground. A view to the ceiling reveals the well through which the dive gear was lowered. We went through the low-silty entrance tunnel and arrived in the entrance room. This room is relatively shallow. At first it seemed barren, but our light soon revealed impressive stalactites suspended from the ceiling, stalagmites pointing up from the cave floor, and large columns that extended from the floor to the ceiling. These cave formations could only have been formed if this room had been dry for long periods of time. After looking around the entrance room, we followed the guideline into the white room. It is deeper and much larger than the entrance room and lacks the stalactites of the entrance room. The rock is white and reflects light very well. As Michael caught up with me, his more powerful video lights illuminated the room nicely. The limestone rock is white because, unlike the other rooms in siil, there are no deposits covering the white limestone. The lack of cave decorations provides evidence that this room has been submerged in water through most of its history. The water in the room was exceptionally clear, giving the impression that we were just floating in the air. We were diving rebreathers, and the large tank Michael is carrying on his left side was backup gas in case his rebreather failed. I followed the guideline through a series of narrow openings to find the end of the room while Michael waited. The passageway became difficult because the crevices became more and more narrow, eventually blocking my way. After about 150 feet, I reached the end of the room and turned around. Eventually, I re-entered the main part of the white room and met up with Michael again. On the way out from the white room, I noticed water stains on the wall, and above the water stains was an old solution tube through which water had once dripped. This was evidence that at least part of the white room was once a dry cave, although not long enough for stalactites to have formed. We proceeded to the dark room, a shallower part of the cave with many large stalactites and columns. Deposits have left a dark coating on the rock and formations that absorbed our light, making it difficult to illuminate. At first it was hard to see details, but as our eyes adjusted to the light conditions and we got closer, the formations in this room could be seen. The stalactites and columns were large, complex, and numerous, and they appeared dark brown with streaks of white. This column is at least 18 inches in diameter and 20 feet tall. You can hear my voice in the background as I tried to narrate this scene during the dive. Again, I met back up with Michael and we exited the cave after nearly 2 hours of exploration. Our maximum depth was 109 feet, but because we were diving rebreathers, only a few minutes of decompression time was required.